What's going on in the environment.
Right.
Because like right now, like this is like an eighth of what Oz can be.
I know, it's not normally this.
Yeah. And I think it's because like fall's coming in and all that stuff. So what is your number currently set at?
0.
0? And
Yeah.
it's turned on, correct?
It is, it's on, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go to about 10. And if you land on like 9 or 11 or so, clockwise goes up, counterclockwise goes down. You know, like 9 or 11 or so, that's fine. It's just general area. And we're gonna look at Luna here. And when I say tap, you're gonna press that bumpy number on that bumpy button, right? Yep. So tap, tap, tap. So no response here. So we're gonna go to 13.
Okay.
And tap, tap, tap. No response. 16. Tap. There we go. Tap, tap. Yeah. There, right? So you're at 16?
Yeah.
It's okay.
17.
It's because that's more startled than anything. Okay, so that's 16. So we're going to go down back to that 13. Okay. And tap, tap, tap. We're going to go 15. How is she with dogs? Iffy? Okay,
Yeah.
just because I see off-leash dogs over there. So I know to let you know.
Yeah.
That's if they're in her space, but she's not reactive.
She's not going to like lunge off this leash and go grab
Okay, sure. And tap right there. Okay, so we're gonna start with 15 here.
Okay.
So we have 3 levels. We have connection, perception, and working.
Okay.
Connection is when you see the twitch, but there's no response. So she's staring at something, and this is happening, like she's unfazed.
Right.
Okay. Perception is a little bit like what's going on, and then working level is a little bit more exaggerated. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the reason why that working level is important is because that's what kind of speeds up the process. Essentially you're trying to override what's going on within the environment. Yeah. So we went to 13 to 17, and then in the middle we're at 15. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want them jumping every time.
Well, we don't want them yelping.
Right.
Some dogs in the beginning will be overly sensitive.
Yeah.
So then as she gets it more, you'll start to see like she's like, oh, okay, like
Right.
I know what this is now, or I'm aware of what this is.
Right.
And that tends to settle unless it's like a very nervy or edgy dog. Then sometimes they're just kind of jumpy as it is.
Yeah, she's a little jumpy. Yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. But it's normal in the beginning because she's not meant to have her muscle contracted, and it's completely like out of nowhere.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So today we're going to cover the leash walking exercise. I know we have the kid thing, right?
Yeah.
And like and just socializing with children and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're starting with this. So because everybody walks their dog to go potty, right? Since you'll be walking her regularly, it gives you something that you practice regularly.
Right.
To expose her to the collar so that she learns how it turns on and how it turns off.
And she definitely needs, one of the things is when I take her on walks, because she gets very like lunging at dogs, lunging at people, all of that with me. So walk.
Oh, okay.
Walks, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So good
when
to know.
my husband walks her, she's fine.
She's
when
fine?
I walk her, she's
Not so well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna coach you through this exercise.
Okay.
It's very simple. I'm gonna demonstrate it first. And I'm gonna be giving you direction, okay?
Okay.
So I teach on the left. Okay.
Okay.
It's traditional, and if you're right-handed, it's easier on the left.
Okay.
Okay. So every time I say the word turn, you're gonna make a 180 turn to immediate right like this. Okay.
Okay.
Turn. 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 Like that.
Okay.
So straight back. You don't want to do this, where you round it out.
Okay.
Okay. It's gonna be an immediate pivot to go to your right. Okay, so always to your right side.
It's always like this.
Correct. Okay. The other thing I'm going to be saying is tap.
Okay.
So when I say tap, it means press the button. So then tap, 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 or tap, 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 tap. Okay. So you're going by my rhythm.
Okay.
So those two things together look like Luna goes, turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, 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 good. Turn, tap, 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 good.
Okay.
So we're trying to condition her that when she feels the remote to come to your left side.
Okay.
So in the beginning it's going to look like a lot of craziness, and then we're going to play with the number until eventually we start to see her get the concept.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes the dogs will pull over to your right side.
Okay.
So if that happens, you're going to pull to your left as you're walking, and then I'll tell you to tap to bring her over to this side.
Okay.
But you would keep moving forward.
Okay. So don't stop and wait, just kind of
keep going, yeah. As best as you can, you want to keep your momentum. A lot of people tend to stop, which allows the dog to get more distracted or more kind of in tune to what they were doing.
Right.
Okay? So we have that. for your leash, go ahead and give some slack here. A little bit more. And then relax your arm. Good. So go ahead and just stand right next to Luna. There you go. So you see where there's like a little J on the bottom of your leash there?
Yep.
You see how it's right by her armpit?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the perfect length.
Okay.
Okay, that will keep it from going underneath her legs.
Okay.
Because sometimes if the dog jumps or something like that,
Right.
the leash will get under. But as she's walking, if it's too loose, she'll step over it, and then you're constantly adjusting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and have you step over here to the sidewalk. And as best you can, you're gonna keep your arms nice and relaxed. And then I'm gonna have you go ahead and just move forward, okay? And turn, tap, tap. Go ahead, keep forward. Go ahead and slow walk here. Turn, tap, 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 pull to your left, tap, good.
What are you doing?
Dog training.
Oh, good. Cool.
Turn, tap, tap. There you go, forward. You're good. Good, now slow walk. Go ahead and turn. Pull to your left, tap, good. Let's go down to 8.
Go down to 8?
Yeah. So we might have really good contact now.
Okay.
Pull to your left, tap. Good, and relax your arm. Good. Pull to your left, tap, tap. Good. Relax. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Let's go ahead and go to 10. She's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, she's pretty little.
Yeah, she's
Big
cute.
attitude, but
Pull to your left, tap. Good job. There we go. Yeah, now she's feeling it on 10. Good. Tap. Yep, there you go. Go ahead and walk slow. Turn. Tap. 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 Good. I'm going to have you go ahead and speed up your pace here. Tap. Good. Good. Go ahead and slow down. Good. Pull to your left, tap, tap. Good. And then turn. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Tap to your left, tap. Good. There you go. Tap, good. Tap forward, good. You're doing good. And then slow down. Slow turn. Careful. Forward, tap. There we go. Now go ahead and slow down a little bit more. And slower. And stop. And then pull to your left, tap. Good. Right there. All right. So here, she's not giving us a whole lot to work with. Usually it's very like dog all over the place.
so she's like picking up, I guess, quickly, or she's just choosing to behave today.
Yeah. Choosing to behave. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you walk with Luna, is she normally like at your somewhat at your side, or is she usually pulling?
If there's not like a dog nearby or a squirrel or whatever, she's usually pretty good about being around you.
Okay.
But if she does see something she wants, she will.
She's a puller.
Pull, yes.
Okay. Does she have any prey drive? Squirrels, rabbits?
Yes.
That. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Squirrels are like the number one. We always say that like if she was off leash and I was around, the only thing that would make her like not come back is a squirrel.
Gotcha. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just get you used to this. This is the baseline exercise that teaches you how this works and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from we went from 10, we went to 13, then to 17, down to 15, and then 15 was too much, and then we went down to 8. 8 wasn't doing anything, and then I went up to 10.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm watching for every time you press that button, does Luna change her behavior or does she give a response?
Okay.
Okay, so there was one point when she went to your right side, and when I saw you tap the button, you could see where she felt it and she moved to the left side.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a number that's high enough to motivate the dog to change, or alter their behavior,
Yeah.
but low enough that we don't get the reaction.
yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to balance that. Now, don't get too paranoid about like, oh crap, if she yelps, like I'm gonna ruin her.
Yeah.
It happens. We just adjust it, right?
Yeah.
So we went from 15 down to 18, which is like less than half, or almost by half the power. Okay, because it was such a big response.
Yeah.
Okay. I never stopped to like, oh, I'm sorry, or console the dog, because that negates everything.
Okay.
Because you're thinking of this as like a discipline approach.
Okay.
So if my mom spanked me, and like maybe she spanked me too hard, it wasn't like, oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
It was like, well, if you didn't do that, it wouldn't have to
Right.
spank you, and that wouldn't have happened, right?
Right.
It's kind of the same thing for dogs, okay?
Yeah.
So I understand like we don't want to hurt the dog,
I know
obviously,
it's definitely hard to,
but we're just adjusting it to what she gives us, okay?
Yeah.
So like, let's say you're working with Luna and like she's pulling towards a squirrel and you keep tapping and you're like 20 times and she's
Right.
not responding, we're too low.
Right.
Then we just adjust and we go higher because you're trying to go by what's going on within the situation.
Right, because the more, like your video is saying, like, the more stimulated she is, she needs a bigger.
Correct. You have to get through to this,
Right.
okay? And like sound doesn't work or food doesn't work because a lot of people like they'll be talking to a dog and the dog is like so zoned in on like a squirrel.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need something physical
Then
to
you
cut
need,
through.
You need to like cut them out of that and figure out what you want.
Correct. Okay. So here we're getting that baseline down. So eventually, what this would shape into is like, let's say, fast forward a week or so, you've been doing this. You have a good idea of Luna's numbers. She sees a squirrel, and maybe you decide, I want you to not look at that squirrel.
Yeah.
You would go to like 16 or whatever, and you
Right.
tap her, and then you'll see her disengage from the squirrel, and more so tune into what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. Without
That would
any
be great.
words. Without any words. And we're gonna, progress these things, but it's first teaching her that this is now kind of like a permanent thing, right?
Okay.
Because it's a communicator.
Right.
You're using it right now to teach her like, hey, you're going the wrong way, I'm going the opposite way.
Yeah.
And once we start to shape that, we can use it to stop behaviors we don't like
Right.
reactivity, or like, when the kids are moving around and maybe she's kind of unsure about that,
Yeah.
we can use it to stop those things. But right now we're just teaching her how it turns on and then how it turns off, and
Right.
that she can make decisions that makes it turn off.
Okay.
So a lot of people feel bad about this, and they're like, oh, isn't that like cruel or anything because the dog doesn't know what to do? I'm like, it doesn't matter if you talk to the dog, because
Right.
they don't know what you're saying anyways.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's not like they don't understand you're apologizing.
Exactly. It's not like a human where you could have a conversation
Right.
and then be like, look, if you do this, you're gonna get spanked,
Right.
right? And then I know, okay, cool, I have a decision to make.
Right.
Do I do it or do I don't do it, right?
Yeah.
Dogs don't have that.
Right.
So you just have to shape everything through physicality,
Mm-hmm.
but it's appropriate, and she's the one that tells you like what's too little and what's too high.
Yeah.
Okay? And then relax that left arm. There you go.
I'm so used to, I don't want her to like lunge at anyone,
Sure. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you give that slack back.
Okay.
And we're gonna try back and forth with these exercises again. Tap, 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 and turn to your right. Tap to your right. Tap, and then forward. Tap, tap. There she goes. Good girl. Turn. Tap, tap. Good. Tap to your left, tap. Good. It's going to go to 12. Good. Good. Turn. Tap, 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 tap. Turn. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Turn. Tap, tap, tap. Let's try 14. Turn. Tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and grab the collar and hit the pager function on the front of your remote. It's just a vibrate. It's vibrating?
Yeah.
Okay. And forward. Good. Slow turn. Yep. And then slowly turn to your right. You got it. Good. Turn. Tap. 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 Good. Yeah, there it is. And a slow to slow turn. Good. Tap to your left. Good job. Let's go down to 13. Turn, tap, tap. There we go. Yeah, it's getting better. And then relax your arm. Good job. Forward. Good. And slow to slow turn. Good. Pull to your left tap. Good. Good. Now slow to slow turn here. Good turn. Forward. Yep. Tap. Forward. Tap. There you go. Good. Atta girl. Keep forward. Relax that arm. Tap. 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 Keep going. Tap. 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 There. Tap. There she goes. To your left. Tap. There you go. Good job. Turn. Tap. Good. Pull to your left. Good. Yep, good. Keep forward, you're good. Turn, tap, 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 relax that arm. There you go. Tap forward, there you go. Tap, 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 keep going. There she goes, atta girl, good. And slow to slow turn. Good, you got it. To your left tap. Good job. Good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. And slow to slow turn. Good turn. Relax that arm. There you go. Turn, tap, tap, tap forward, tap forward. You got it. Good job. And then relax that arm. Good. And slow to slow turn. Yep. To your left tap. Right. Good. Relax. Good. Turn. Tap. Let's go down to, you're at 13?
Yeah.
Let's go 11.
She's starting to shake. Is that just...
Yeah, it's a stress response. I'll talk about it once we come to a break.
Okay.
But it's normal. There you go, forward. Atta girl, good job. Good. And slow to slow turn. Very good. Tap, there you go. Let's go down to 8 again. And turn. Tap, tap. Yeah, there we go. We got tap, forward. There she goes, atta girl. Relax that arm. Good. Slow to slow turn. Good turn. To the left, tap. Good, there you go. Much better. Good girl. Turn. Tap. 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 Keep forward. Tap. Tap. Good. There you go. Good. Give her a little bit of leash here. That's good right there. Forward. Yep. Now slow to slow turn. Good turn. Good. Now I'm going to have you slow walk here, but keep walking forward. Slow, yep, tap, good. Keep forward, tap, tap, good. Turn, tap, 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 tap. Keep going, tap, 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 tap. There she goes. Tap, tap. Atta girl, good. Good. Then slow to slow turn. To your left tap. Now slow walk here and slower, slower, slower to stop. There you go. Good. All right. So here, the shaking. So do you know why that's happening?
I mean, I would guess because she's scared or doesn't like it.
Yeah, she doesn't know what it is, right? So discipline, nobody likes.
Right.
You know, like earlier with my other client, she's very soft. And she's an old lady with a 70-pound dog who's reactive and lunging. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can't worry about how the dog feels right now. You have to get this under control. And then we're talking to, they're like, well, the dog looked depressed for the first week. I'm like, yeah, like, because no one likes discipline.
Yeah.
Like, when I got spanked, I didn't walk away smiling.
Right.
You know, unless you're, what is it, sadistic or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you like that stuff. But for dogs, it's completely foreign to her. It's a muscle contraction. She does not know what it is. And what we're doing here is, that's why this is so important, is because most people, because they see this, tend to lay off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, no, like I'm only going to use it when the dog's at their worst, which is when they're lunging and barking.
Yeah.
Because they feel validated. They're like, well, I'm only using when the dog's being bad. But
Right.
dogs don't have a concept of good or bad. That's human concept.
Yeah.
You determine what you can do and what you can't do. Okay. So with the leash walking, one, you do it multiple times a day.
Okay.
So it allows you
Yeah.
to practice this multiple times a day. The more you expose, the faster she recovers.
Okay.
The less you expose, the longer it takes.
Okay.
So, have you ever been skydiving?
I
Okay.
do.
Okay. So, let's say you did that, do you think you would just jump out?
No.
No. Because you know what's going to
Yeah.
happen, right? It's very stressful. And let's say you did that every day.
Right.
Do you think it would progressively get easier?
I would hope so.
Yeah, because you do it every day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That stressful thing you're repeating. And if you did it like once a year, it's going to be stressful because
Right.
you're only exposing yourself once a year, right? Same thing for your dog. If you do this 3 times a day or every walk, it's exposure, 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 exposure. Okay?
Yeah.
She gets over it faster. Also, you make more progress. You make much more progress quickly
Okay.
because you're doing this regularly. People again tend to like try to only do as much as needed or as little as
Right.
needed, but they stay stuck in this limbo
Yeah.
because they're not getting the dog over the stress, and they're not exposing the dog enough that the dog just starts to like self-regulate
Okay.
and like decide like I'm not gonna lunge, I'm not gonna pull or whatever. Okay, because dogs aren't proactive, they're reactive. Okay, she doesn't get up in the morning going, I'm gonna harass kids today.
Right,
She's
yeah.
just like, okay, and she's
Just
in the
sound
moment.
fast,
There's
whatever it is,
kids.
yeah.
Oh, I don't like kids, or I don't like sound, or I don't like this
Right.
bike walking by or running by. Right. So, normal in the beginning. We should see as you work with her more, it either gets less and less, whether it's over a month or a week. Okay. So, like I worked with a puppy last week. He was super shaky,
Okay.
like really bad, and they're like, oh my god, right?
Yeah.
And then the second class, nothing.
Okay.
Because they did it every day,
Okay.
3 times a day, and exposed them. Okay. That's why the adjustment is so important.
Yeah.
You're gonna make mistakes, so don't worry about like, is this perfect? You're
Yeah.
gonna make mistakes. She's gonna yip. You just keep it moving.
Okay.
Okay. So when I saw that 13 or 11 became too much, we went down to 8, and 8 was actually doing reasonably well.
Yeah.
And all I'm looking is that when she's looking for is that when she feels it, she gives me the response I
She
want.
does something.
Exactly, and she does it relatively quickly. So then we get that balance of like she feels it and moves into it, but then she's also learning like, oh, this thing isn't always intense,
Yeah.
right? And I can actually lessen my exposure to it or avoid it completely if I simply do these things.
Yeah.
So then she starts to then she starts to understand like, oh, I can actually control this.
Yeah,
okay?
and like as far as like those couple times when she was just like, I'm not gonna walk.
Yeah.
It's just that's the same kind of
That's
thing.
the pressure. She's going, I don't like this, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna shut down.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you allow her to shut down, she ends up doing it more.
Okay.
But it also keeps those issues there because she learns that there's an out and that she doesn't have to do it.
Okay.
For dogs, there is no choice. The
Right.
dog has to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I saw a video on the internet with the trainer, the person was using an e-collar. The trainer's like, well, the dog didn't have a choice. And I'm like, no, the dogs don't have choices.
Yeah.
Because if I call my dog from like running towards the street
Right.
and it thinks it's a choice.
I don't want them to have a choice.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't work that way. They just don't have choices.
Yeah.
She does what you allow her.
Yeah.
You know, so it's what
Yeah.
what you allow her to do and what you don't allow her to do. Okay. So you have to be very consistent, very black and white, because when we delve into behavior,
Yeah.
if with obedience there's gray area, and you're like, well, you're stressed out, so I'm going to stop for you now,
Right.
and she's doing that on her own choice. Well, then like if kids are around and she's like, I don't like kids when they're in my space.
Yeah. She's like, this time I'm gonna choose to do it.
Exactly. So that's why it has to be super black and white, because humans create gray area.
Yeah.
Okay, dogs thrive in black and white. If they don't like something, they let you know,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah.
like, let's say when you're, with your husband, he's like, oh, when I'm with dad,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
When I'm with mom, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Very black and white.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to have that same approach with her, and you don't have to be mean.
Yeah.
We didn't have to be to yell. We weren't being forceful. We weren't yanking her or anything like that.
Yeah.
We let the remote do all that stuff for us, and you're just adjusting according to what she gives you. In the beginning, it may seem like a lot, but as you practice this, you'll start to just know.
Okay.
And like for me, when I've done this for so long with so many dogs, I don't even think it's literally just like all second nature to me.
Yeah.
I just adjust it because the dog tells me what I need to know.
Yeah.
And I'm not like if I have to max it out or whatever for whatever reason, like the dog's not going to die. It's just a very strong muscle contraction.
Yeah.
You know, so like just getting rid of those things allows you to relax and just operate as needed.
Definitely is hard at the beginning, like hearing her yell and stuff. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's not hurt, but it's like, it's hard.
And you know, it's interesting because I have another case right now where the dog is fear aggressive towards humans, and the lady babys her. And I told her, you're countering yourself because your dog is acting this way because it does not feel secure when she's around you. Right. So it's either I'm an authority and I'm indifferent and I correct you, right? And you don't get that behavior. Or you try to do this balancing act of doing both. And the dog's just like, you're bluffing. Like you're a soft energy and I need somebody who's going to make me feel safe. Right? So like cops, they're, you know, law enforcement, they regulate, they reinforce the laws. They're not people's friends. Right. You know? So it's the same thing here, but the human-dog relationship is weird because humans get dogs for companionship. Dogs don't need companionship. You know, and then we get other things like this. You know, and it's like people try to do this balancing act and I go, it doesn't work. You know, you start with the strictness first and then we start to like give leniencies and then go back to like, you know, the relationship. And I get some dogs that are so bad where the owner just has to be quote unquote an asshole to them and be very strict, black and white, no freedoms, none of the stuff, in order to keep the dog in line. You know, but then they feel bad about it. I'm like, but you've already tried to give the dog the good stuff and then the dog regressed. You know, so it's like the niceness or the other stuff is for the human.
It makes us feel better. It doesn't really do anything for them.
For the dog, correct, right? So, and here she's already starting to shake a little less. Okay? So the more you expose her and the more she learns that this is his life now, the faster this goes away, okay?
And I'm sure you'll get to this, but I'm curious, you say like to do this on walks. Obviously our normal walk isn't just like back and forth.
No, correct. So as long as Luna's on your side, you would actually keep going straight. So do you know when, or could you see when I was telling you to turn?
It was when she was kind of starting to like...
When I saw her edging off to the side or getting ahead of you, right? So the way most people try to teach the heel is they'll let the dog pass, they'll yank them or remote them, they'll say no, right? The dog jumps back and they'll go heel. They'll keep walking and the dog goes ahead again and they'll go no, they'll correct them, and they'll go heel, right? This is too complicated of a process to get dogs to understand. What I do is I go, here's some slack. Start walking, they pass me, and now I can see what they're doing. So when they turn around, when they're like, oh, mom's going the other way. Then she catches up, she passes again, you turn, start rolling again. Now she's like, oh, now mom's going the other way. So it's very simple for them. She starts to learn like, oh, every time I feel this, when I turn around, mom's going the opposite way. Okay? So then she's starting to condition herself to think like, oh, when I feel this, it means I need to be walking with mom, and then we start to see her gravitate towards this pocket, okay? And with little dogs, are harder to train. Because it's like, how do you say, it's not as obvious. Whereas with the bigger dogs, it's, you know, it's pretty clear. Like, oh yeah, like now they're paying attention. But I could see her. I don't know if you saw where you were walking. She was actually looking at me, right? Because now she's learning like, hey, every time I do this, this happens. So then she started to think like, what's going on here? And that's why she was looking at me. Okay. That's not a permanent thing. Once she understands or associates what she's supposed to do, dogs have a wider periphery than we do, so she can see her legs moving and still line up with you. She has that visual. Okay, so we're gonna do a few more of the walking back and forth. It's going to give Luna some slack here. Good. And then go ahead and make a turn to your right and tap and forward. There we go. Good. And relax your arm. Good. Tap forward. Good. Now slow to slow turn. Forward. Tap. Good. Turn. Tap. 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 Let's go to 9.
It's on 9.
Let's go to 10. 10, 11, it's fine. Tap. There we go, good. And slow to slow turn. Good. Turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. There she goes, atta girl. And slow to slow turn. Yep, good. And turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. Tap forward, good. Slow to slow turn. Let's go ahead and bump it again. 12, 13. And turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. Forward tap, good. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward. And turn, tap, 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 tap. Good. And slow to slow turn. Good. Keep forward. And turn, tap, tap, tap. Where are you at now?
13.
Let's go 15. Tap, tap, tap. Slow to slow turn. Turn, tap. Let's go to 14. Good, forward. And slow to slow turn. Good. Relax that arm. Turn, tap, tap. There we go. And slow to slow turn. Keep that arm relaxed. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward, tap. Now turn, tap. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Turn again, tap. Good. There you go, good. Better. Turn, tap, 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 tap. Keep forward, tap, tap. Now turn. Good. Relax that arm. Better. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward. Good. Good. You got it. Good job. Relax that arm. Slow to slow turn. Good turn. Now walk slower, but keep forward. Slower. And stop. Good. Do you see that difference?
Yeah.
Because I see the guilt.
It is. It's hard. It's hard.
All right, so we're gonna do a little bit more. You're at 14, correct?
Yes.
We're gonna dip it back down. We're gonna try going down to that 10, okay? And instead of going straight forward, I'm gonna have you go to your immediate right. And what I'm also gonna do here is I'm gonna have you just try this on your own, okay? And I'm gonna limit you between that pole and this pole, okay? Now on some of those turns, I was saying slow to slow turn.
Yeah.
Do you know why I was doing that?
I'm guessing because she was kind of behaving, so you were trying to see.
Sure, I could see her paying attention. So when you slow to slow turn, it gave her time to turn with you. And that's when I was actually going good, right?
Yeah.
But then coming this way was difficult for her. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
And you kept having to turn here until eventually you hit 14, and then you're actually able to walk without her forging.
Yeah.
So if you see Luna is doing well and you need to change direction, slow, then slow turn.
Yeah.
If Luna's not paying attention, period, you just do that 180 pivot like you were, and of course your remote, okay? And then if you feel like you need to adjust it, you go ahead and do so.
Okay.
Okay, questions?
I don't think so.
You got it. Go ahead. Good turn. Good. And I'll have you say tap as well when you tap, okay?
I'll say tap.
Yeah, please. Yep.
Tap. Tap.
Good.
Tap.
Good.
Tap. Tap.
You got it. Good job. You got it. Good job. Good. Good. Very good. See if we can step. You got it. Good job. Atta girl. Good. You got it. Good. And what's your number now? 10. Okay.
It's like hard to see her.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Yep. Good. Good job. Good turn. Look, oh, she thought about it there. She thought about it. Atta girl. Good. 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 Good turn. Good turn. Good. You got it. Good job. You're okay. Good.
Are you doing a time lapse?
No, I'm dog training. Good girl. Good turn. Now here, go ahead. What you're gonna do is speed up a bit. Okay. Yep. There you go. You got it. Good. Good turn. Good turn. Atta girl. Good. Good. Yep. Good. Very nice. Go ahead and shorten that leash a little bit. About 6 inches. That's good. 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 And then slow and turn and then slow, slower and stop. Okay. So you see how she's pulling away from you? So anchor yourself there and go ahead and pivot like you were before. Okay. And lightly pull towards you and tap, 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 and you're gonna keep that tension constant. There you go, a little bit more tap, tap, right there, and then relax. Atta girl. Good. Good job. That was good. Okay. So here, when you're moving, she's actually more relaxed.
Okay.
Right? Because again, why a couple reasons why I do the heel. One, when you put a remote on the dog and you remote them with no direction, most of the time they start walking.
Oh.
Because they want to get away from it. Okay. So then here we use a moving command to help the dog direct what they're supposed to do.
Okay. Is that kind of why she would like trying to pull off to the side?
Correct. Because it's either pressure overload or I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to try to get away from this. Right? So dog's first instinct is typically a flight. Okay?
Yeah.
So then the next thing is walking alleviates stress. Okay, which is why heel is such a great exercise practice, because not only teaches the dog how to turn on and off, and you do it multiple times a day, but also alleviates stress.
Yeah.
Okay, so like me, if I'm really stressed, I like walking my dogs.
Yeah.
It helps me get that stress out. It helps me think, right, clear my head a bit. Same thing for dogs. Okay, so that's why heel is such. You familiar with Caesar Milan?
Yes.
The dog whisperer.
Yeah.
What's he do?
I don't watch it a ton. My in-laws
Okay,
are really into
but
it.
in the shows that you ever seen, like the first thing he always does is walks
Go
dogs.
for a walk, yeah.
He's like, this dog's really excited. Go for a walk.
Right.
This dog's really anxious. Let's go for a walk. Let's get that energy out,
Yeah.
right? And same thing with what I do. So I'm very much heavily influenced through Caesar Milan. And this is like Caesar Milan adapted to e-color,
Yeah.
right? And one of the first things I do whenever I come into a case, even if it's a behavioral case, is I go, I know our problem is here. The other Luna, right? Very spooky dog.
Yeah.
Didn't want to come out her car. Didn't like new environments, things like that.
Yeah.
We did leash walking, and then she's built her confidence through more and more exposure.
Yeah.
Right? So, same thing here. Once you were walking, yes, you'd have moments where she was kind of flooded and she'd like, oh no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And you tapped and you moved, you made her go forward. So what you're saying is that's not an option.
Right.
Okay, you have to move forward.
Right.
So going back to my business analogy of like I could have chosen to be like, oh shit,
Well, yeah, like,
anything.
yeah.
Right. And let the business go under it. Or I go, all right, I gotta adapt. I have to move
Figure
forward.
it out, yeah.
Exactly. Same thing here. But it's simpler. Because for her, every time she tries to think of I can't do it, you have a negative
Yeah.
that kicks in. And then she thinks like, all right, every time I try to pull back, this kicks in, but if I just walk, it goes away.
Right.
And nothing bad happens. Okay, that's how she starts to build that confidence. That's how she starts to get over those stressors and learn how to handle stress more healthily.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this stuff, again, for me, very normal to see. She's doing well. When you bumped it to 10, I saw you do that.
Yeah.
I started to see her making better responses, where she was changing her behavior, but it wasn't like over the top. Okay, so all that looked really good.
Okay.
Your turns were good. So when you're walking with Luna, of course you wouldn't go back and forth
Right.
between poles. So for your visual, her right shoulder should be parallel to your left leg.
So she shouldn't be like walking really slowly behind
Technically, no. However, as long as she's walking with you, I'm not going to worry too much about it. As long as it's not extreme.
me. Like pulling back. Or,
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there was some parts where she was behind you, like a foot or so, but she was
Yeah,
just
that's
trucking
okay.
along. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
When you come to a stop, that right shoulder here or a little bit behind is okay.
Okay.
So when you stopped over here, and I don't know if you saw her,
Yeah,
she
she-
went
yeah,
like this,
yeah.
right? She like, yeah, I don't want to be here. So you countered her, and you tapped, and you eventually brought her into the space.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just helping her associate. When you feel this is where you want to be.
Right.
This is the safe space. Okay. And what you'll start to see as you work with her is when you tap her, she's going to start gradually just gravitating to that left leg. Okay. We're not saying anything yet. We're not saying heel, because I just want you to focus on getting Luna to walk at your side.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have a release. I use the word break. Break means your job is done. So what I suggest in the beginning is you come outside, you give Luna a potty break, get that out the way first. Once she's done, then start the walking process. Okay. So if she's peeing and pooping here, she's done. I start to walk, tap to bring her to my side, and you're gonna want to find that working number first, right? So then after she pees and poops, get that connection down, and then walk, tap to bring her to your side, and then just go for a walk.
Okay.
So if you
And
walk
you tap when she's pulling off to the side or
anywhere that's not
squirrel
here.
or
Correct. Yeah. So if she's sniffing the ground, pulling towards the squirrel, pulling towards the side. Now, if it's to the side, you can either turn or you can actually keep going forward, because either way, there's a gap that she has to close in on.
Right.
If she keeps pulling forward and this isn't working, then I would go ahead and try that turn
Yeah.
to redirect her back to her leg.
Okay.
If you, so if you're walking for 5 blocks straight and Luna's just right there, perfect.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything. So then she starts to process like, oh wow, like if I'm just right here next to mom in this certain pocket. we're
So don't
good.
try and like make her.
Make mistakes?
You're not trying. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm like once I get the foundation down, like even in the beginning, I wasn't making her make mistakes. I was just going by what she gave
So
me.
she's doing well. She's doing well.
Yes. So we just keep going, right? So you're not going to be constantly tapping her. It would be as needed.
Yeah.
So then she starts to go like, oh, if I just walk next to mom, like that's all I have to do.
Right.
You'll start to see her relax even more.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I have an answer. Okay. Right now, because it's a lot of discipline right off the bat, because we're training from ground zero.
Yeah.
The dogs tend to be more like, what the heck's going on? Normal. But then as it becomes less and less, and they learn what they're supposed to do, all that stuff starts to go away. My dogs had the same issue. They're like, what the hell is this? And I raise my dogs with like prong collars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, e-collar is foreign to them, that they are kind of stressed in the beginning. But then once they realize like, oh crap, like we go for walks and stuff, cool.
Yeah.
They were fine. My dogs recovered very quickly because they were used to discipline and consequence. So, in terms of putting the collar on and stuff, I suggest in the beginning, put the collar on 15 minutes prior,
Okay.
then do your training, and leave it on for 15 minutes after.
Okay.
Okay, and then remove it. So it's not like a on, we train, and then off right away.
Okay.
So we can try to kind of disassociate things.
Okay.
You can also incorporate food. You know, you bring out a couple pieces of cheese, show them the collar, the cheese, turn it on, put it on the cheese, do your training, come back, leave it on for a bit, go to take it off, give her a piece of cheese, remove it, give her a piece of cheese, and then we're done. You can even have her wear it throughout the day and not do anything. Okay, like have it on for 30 minutes while she's
We've been doing that a little bit this week, just like putting it on and working.
Yeah. So you just have it on her, and then like some people will complain like, oh, well, like I put it on, the dog just shuts down. I'm like, good, like let them get through that.
Yeah.
The more you expose them to it, the faster they go like, oh, it's not always gonna be happening, right? If I have dogs that are good at the dog park and stuff, I'll tell the owner, leave the collar on. Let the dog play so it learns like, oh, this can be present and I can have a good time.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions so far?
I don't think so. I mean,
in terms of practicing, every walk is now a training walk, unless it's like a quick go out to go potty and then back inside. Okay. Dogs learn better in smaller chunks. So I would do like 3 20-minute walks, you know, or 4 15-minute walks. In the beginning to exposure. Now, if all you have is 1 solid hour, that's fine. Because remember, you're not doing this purposely. You're doing it as she gives you stuff to correct.
Right.
Okay. So if all you have is a solid hour, then fine, go for that long walk. And you're only turning and correcting whenever she's passing you. Okay. You have to practice. In the beginning, when you go to release her, like break to go potty, don't be surprised if she's kind of apprehensive about it, because since there's so much discipline that's fresh in her head right now, she's going to be very cautious. Okay? It's normal. I tell her break. She doesn't do anything. I wait a little bit. All right, let's go for a walk now. And we start going, and then I try again later in the walk. And I just keep, trying and trying and trying. Eventually, once she gets comfortable with it, you'll say the word break, and then she'll go and like, okay, and she'll pee, poop, roll around, do her dog thing, and not be so stressed about it. Okay? The caution is good. Caution is her thinking like, can I really do this? Right? Because that's what, again, leaks into the behavior.
Yeah.
Do I really want to growl at kids? Do I really want to do this when they're running around? Right? She's going to start second guessing her behaviors because of this consequence. So like when I was growing up, my mom said, hey, don't do that. It was only, hey, don't do that until I got spanked. Yeah. And then I was like, oh crap, hey, don't do that. It has a totally different meaning now because now there's threat of consequence. Yeah. Same thing for her. Yeah. Okay. Use every opportunity to remote. Okay. People tend to give the dog the opportunity to be a good dog. I use every opportunity to make the dog be a good dog. Okay. That's how you start to create consistency. People put too much in the dog early on, and they're like trying to give them the opportunity to avoid the tap. Yeah. And they go, no. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. Yeah. Because that discipline is what's ultimately going to help your dog progress faster. Yeah. Okay. Don't use the e-collar for anything not covered. Okay. Okay. You'll only be using it for the leash walking exercises, but feel free to have it on her, outside of those training moments, just to get her over it faster. Yeah. Okay.
So should the whole walk, other than like giving her a break to, pee or whatever, be right?
Yes. So I do 80 to 20. Okay. 80% of work to 20% play. Okay. Okay. So if it's an hour-long walk, like 45 minutes to 50 minutes would be structure, and then 10 to 15 minutes would be free time. Okay. Okay. Your dog becomes what you allow them to do. So most people allow their dogs to do whatever they want, right? Careful. No, not here, sir. People allow their dogs to do what they want, and if there's no rules and boundaries, then you start to see in other areas. Yeah. Okay. So here, if you practice discipline and structure, your dog becomes more disciplined. Dogs, just like with kids. Yeah. You let kids do whatever they want, and then one day you decide like, we're gonna put rules to this. Good luck. Yeah. Because they've had, Fight, come. No. Man. So, she starts practicing more discipline and structure. You start to get that response. And it's not that you're not going to have Luna, like the Luna, the fun Luna and all that stuff. You're still going to have that. Yeah. It's just now there's going to be time and place. So if we went to church growing up, like I wasn't being loud Jesse. Right. I was quiet and as well behaved as could be Jesse, right? And then afterwards, there was a playground that was right there. My mom was like, okay, now you can go let it out. Okay, same thing for her. So it's like, oh, we're going to like, be with like family and stuff. We need calm behavior.
Right.
And then when you go to like a nice open area, it's like now we get to run around and have fun with it.
Right.
Okay. So, and you're the one that dictates all these things.
Yeah.
So you're not being mean and you're not being harsh or anything like that. You pay for the bills, you pay for the vet bills, you pay for training, you pay for her food,
Right.
you rescue her, like all that stuff. You can have this stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, questions?
I don't think so. I mean, it all makes sense. It's just obviously both of us getting used to doing it.
Yeah, for sure. But she's doing good. Like all this is stuff, it's perfectly normal. Like see this pants in here?
Mm-hmm.
That's venting stress. If you look at how she's holding her head, she's dipping down. She's kind of like, what the hell just happened today? Again, all part of the process. The more you expose her, the more confident you're gonna start to see her. Like you're gonna see her like come out of her shell and be like, oh, okay, like I can handle these things.
Right.
So like I typically I'm a personal trainer for dogs. So have you ever had a personal trainer?
Yeah. Yeah.
They push you.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm done. You're like, no, you're gonna do 10
Yeah.
more push-ups. You're gonna do 10 more
Yeah.
squats, right? And then you do them, you're like, holy shit, I didn't think I could do them.
Right.
But
True.
they're like, you got it, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for the dog. She's like, I can't do it, I can't do
Yeah.
it. And you're just like, yes, you can.
Right.
But the way we motivate is different. With humans, we go, yeah, you got it.
Right.
We coach them, right? And help them along. Dogs can't do that. She has to make that decision, and we use that negative. Because she's like, all right, well, I can't avoid the negative. What happens if I just go forward with that thought, that action that I think I can't do? She does. Oh crap, that wasn't that bad.
Right.
Okay, so that's how all this stuff works
Right.
with them. It's just different.
Yeah.
So, good job today. Your homework, simply every time you go for a walk, again, 15-20 minute sessions. Get that business out first. Do your walk. If she's doing great for 5 blocks, you keep going for 5 blocks. I do suggest in the beginning, if you go 5 minutes one way, give yourself 15 minutes or 10 minutes to come back the other way.
Okay.
Back home. Because if she's getting stressed out, she's going to want to pull or forge home. So then no matter how she feels,
Yeah.
you got to keep her here. So I would plan for that on the first one.
Okay.
And you simply override that by bumping that number.
Okay.
What I do is every 3 turns with the correction, if you don't see the response, you would bump it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I was having to do earlier. Every time you're coming this way, she was pulling, and then you would turning cat, and then I would say bump it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your baseline.
She's not learning. She's not improving.
She's not, yeah. Once you reach the number where she's like, okay, I have to override how I feel and just stick to mom, boom.
Yeah.
Okay. And for her, I'd go in increments of like 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of starting out with your numbers, I'd probably start like 6
Okay.
for your working number. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, boom.
Crazy.
Starting at 14, okay?
Would've
And
been
then she
absolutely
over-responds, you simply come down lower, and then work your way back up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
And I'll just leave this collar on probably until I get home. So
Yeah.
Whatever, they said 10 or 15 minutes to like.
Correct. And then, like, let's say you're practicing with her and you run out of time and you're like, I can't, like, commit to this
Yeah.
anymore. Just stop and say the word break,
Okay.
and then she can pull you on.
Okay.
Because now you
Okay.
ended the exercise. Break means you're done.
But there's no word to like.
Start it.
It's just.
The tap, the tap
Okay.
starts the exercise.
Okay.
So if you're working and you're like, oh crap, I ran out of time, and
Yeah.
you get home, stop, break, and then she can pull you on.
Go home and then take the collar off, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you ended the exercise. Next week we'll see how she's doing, and then we'll add in the formal heel.
Okay.
And then you'll have both the on and off switch.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't affect your training. What affects your training is you start the exercise, and then she starts to like deviate, and then you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, like, well, yeah.
Yeah, because there was no clear.
It's like you giving in, she decided.
Exactly. But as long as you come to a complete stop, just wait a moment. Okay, now break. Then she can do whatever she wants.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's helpful. Yeah.
Good job. We'll see you in a week.
Yeah, I have to email your schedule. I had emailed everybody to get a response back. I just need to change the time for next week.
Okay, yeah. Just email her again just to follow up. But I know we had a bunch of new clients come in, so she's
Okay.
probably just catching up
Yeah,
with everybody.
yeah.
But yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care.